face, he looks kind of sad, and everyone else is happy and showing off their new shoes. You see their faces? Yeah, you see he looks kind of sad. Yeah, they all have these black shoes on, and he doesn't have those. All right, so now that you guys have seen the cover page, what do you guys think the book might be about? Besides the shoes, what else do you think might happen?
Maybe the guy with the white shoes, he wants to get those shoes, so he's gonna get them.
Yeah, he might get the new shoes. Boy behind.
I think those three kids are bullying him because he has white shoes.
Yeah, you see they're kind of talking to one another, and he's sad walking away from them. They might be bullying him. So this is one of my favorite books. And when I stop and ask you guys a question, if any of you have a question you might want to ask, or a question that pops into your reader brain, you guys can raise your hand and ask me the question too. Now, I was just asking you guys all of those questions. That gives you a better idea of what the book is about, what the characters are doing, and what might happen next. So even if the book hasn't told you the answer to a question yet, you can still ask it. I might be in the middle of the book and say, well, I really wonder what's going to happen next. And you can raise your hand and ask that, and then maybe your classmates can give you what they think might happen next. All right, those shoes. Everyone can see okay?
Yes.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I have dreamed about those shoes. Black high tops, 2 white stripes. Grandma, I want them. Well, there's no room for want around here, just need, Grandma says. And what you need are new boots for winter. So, at line 2, it says, there's no room for want around here. What do you think that means?
It's something like he doesn't need, but she really want to have it.
Yeah, so she says she knows that he wants those shoes, but it's not about what he wants right now. It's about what he needs. And what he needs are winter boots so his feet stay warm in the winter. Brandon T comes to school in those shoes. He says he's the fastest runner now, not me. I was always the fastest runner before those shoes came along. Nate comes to school in those shoes. Antonio and I count how many times Nate goes to the bathroom. 7 times in one day, just so he can walk up and down the hall real slow. Why do you think he's walking up and down the hall real slow in his shoes?
Trying to show off.
Yeah, he wants to show off his new shoes. Next, Alan, Jacoby, and Terrence each get a pair. And if you look, everyone in the book on this page has those shoes except him. Then one day in the middle of kickball, one of my shoes comes apart. It looks like you could use a new pair, Jeremy, Mr. Alfred, the guidance counselor, says. He brings out a box of shoes and other stuff he has for kids who need things. He helps me find the only shoes that are my size. They're Velcro, like the ones that my little cousin Marshall wears. And they have an animal on them from a cartoon I don't think anyone in my class has even watched. So most of the kids would be excited about new shoes. I thought Jeremy wanted new shoes. Why isn't he excited about these Velcro shoes?
Because he wanted to know the white and black shoes. He didn't want any other kinds of shoes.
Yeah, he wanted those black shoes. He didn't want those. He wanted the high tops that everyone had. He didn't want the animal shoes with Velcro on them. When I come back to the classroom, Alan Jacoby takes one look at my Mr. Alfrey shoes and laughs. And so does Terrence, Brandon T, and everyone else. The only kid not laughing is Antonio Parker. So when you said that the kids might be bullying him that he doesn't have those shoes, do you think you were right? Yeah, they're all laughing at him because he has the Velcro shoes. At home, Grandma says, "How kind of Mr. Alfrey." I nod and just turn my back. I am not going to cry about some dumb shoes, but when I'm writing my spelling words later, every word looks like the word shoes, and my grip is so tight on my pencil, I think it's about to bust. So I don't understand why Jeremy's gripping the pencil so tight. Why do you think he's doing that? William?
Because he doesn't like the shoes, maybe.
Well, how does that make him feel if he's gripping it so tight? Kind of mad because his grandma likes the shoes and is happy, and he knows that he should feel happy, but he feels mad. On Saturday, Grandma says, "Let's check out those shoes you're wanting so much. I've got a little bit of money set aside. It might be enough. You never know." At the store, Grandma turns those shoes over so she can check the price. When she sees it, she sits down heavy. "Maybe they wrote the price down wrong," I say. Grandma just shakes her head. So what questions can you ask yourself right now?
They probably he wanted the shoes, but it said it was probably like
A lot of money. So you could ask the question, how much did the shoes cost? Or, I wonder if Grandma set enough money aside to get the shoes. Then I remember the thrift shops. Wait, what if there's a rich kid who outgrew his or got 2 pairs for Christmas and had to give one of them away? We ride the bus to the thrift shop. Black cowboy boots, pink slippers, sandals, high heels, every kind of shoes except the ones I want. We ride the bus to the second thrift shop. Not a pair of those shoes in sight. Around the corner is the third thrift shop, and I see something in the window. So what do you think he sees in the window?
The shoes.
The shoes. How can you tell?
Because he was kind of surprised.
Yeah, he seemed surprised, and he already named all of these other shoes he saw, and he didn't want those. And look at what he sees. Black shoes with 2 white stripes, high tops, and they're in perfect shape. Only $2.50. Those shoes. My heart is pounding so hard as I take off my shoes and hitch up my baggy socks. How exciting, Grandma says. What size are they? I shove my foot into the first shoe. I curl my toes tight to get my heel in. What do you think that means?
They're too small.
They're too small. I don't know. I think they might fit. In the picture you see, he's really trying to get that shoe on. What do you think is going to happen?
Grandma's saying no, they're too small. But they might bust.
They might bust, yeah. Grandma kneels on the floor and she feels my toes at the end of my shoe. "Jeremy," she says, "I can't spend good money on shoes that don't fit." I pull the other shoe and try to walk around. "They're okay," I say. I'm holding my breath and praying my toes will just fall right off then and there. But my toes don't fall off. I buy them anyways with my own money, and I squeeze them on and I limp to the bus stop. So I'm confused. Why did Jeremy get those shoes when they're so tight? He can't even walk.
Maybe because that, like, he's wanted them for a while, and he finally can get a pair that works.
He can finally afford a pair, and even if they're too small, he wants them so bad that he's hoping that his toes will fall off. So let's stop before I flip the page. Let's predict. What do you think is going to happen next? You think he's going to wear them to school? You think he's going to...
I think he's gonna wear them to school because the end of the day,
Yeah, you think he's going to wear them to school? You think his feet are going to hurt? Yeah. At home a few days later, that's gonna be clean. At home a few days later, Grandma puts a new pair of snow boots in my closet, and she doesn't say a word about my 2 big feet shuffling around in my 2 small shoes. Sometimes shoes stretch, I say, and Grandma just gives me a hug. Why don't you think Grandma said anything? She put the shoes in the closet, didn't say anything, and then he said, hey, the shoes might stretch. She didn't say anything. Why don't you think she told him the shoes are not gonna stretch?
He doesn't want to tell that he got store them shoes for him for that instead of.
Yeah, she doesn't want to tell him that the shoes are not gonna stretch. Have you guys ever had a pair of shoes stretch big enough? No. Maybe a little bit, but not enough. I check every single day, and the shoes do not stretch. I have to wear my Mr. Alfrey shoes to school instead. One day during math, I glanced at Antonio's shoes. One of them is taped up. His feet look smaller than mine. What do you think that means? Yeah, if they ripped, his shoes might be too small too. Why do you think he noticed that his feet look smaller than his? Why do you think that Jeremy noticed that Antonio's feet look smaller than his? Yeah, the shoes might be too big for him. After school, I head to the park and think. Antonio is there, the only kid who did not laugh at my Mr. Alfred shoes. We shoot baskets, and a loose piece of tape on Antonio's shoes smacks the concrete every time he jumps. And I just think, I am not going to do it. We leap off of the swings. I am not going to do it. We race from one end of the playground to the other. I am not going to do it, I say. Do what? Antonio said. So what is he not going to do?
Get them when ask them for his shoes and trading them for
Yeah, they might could trade shoes. If Jeremy noticed that his feet were too small and the shoes that he got are too small, what might happen? He might give his friend his new shoes. Grandma calls me for supper and invites Antonio over too. After supper, he spies my shoes. How come you don't wear these to school? Antonio says. I just shrug. My hands are sweaty and I can feel him wishing that those shoes were his. That night, I'm awake for so long thinking about Antonio. When the morning comes, I try on my shoes one last time. Before I can change my mind, the shoes are already in my coat. Snow's beginning to fall as I come across the street to Antonio's apartment. I put the shoes in front of his door and I push the doorbell and now run. Jeremy wanted those shoes so bad. Why did he drop them off on Antonio's doorstep? Yeah, they were too small for him. I wonder why he rang the doorbell and then ran away. Why do you think he didn't give them to his friend? Yeah, he didn't want him to know it was him. He might not take them if he knew. At school, Antonio is smiling big in his brand new shoes. I feel happy when I look at his face, but then I feel mad when I look